Okay, so we have imported the Valley Road job here by using the import materials and create new job button. Let's take a look at the workflow of pricing the job from start to finish. Job details to open, and the job is going to open at the edit resource page. That allows us to make some last minute changes to flat rate settings and to our default work hour settings, if need be. So even though it's the second tab, the materials tab is always our first port of call, and we check down the bottom right and make sure that this total here, $36,938.81, is a perfect match to the PDF hard copy that we've been sent by our merchant. Once we're satisfied that that's a perfect match, then this is just a mirror of the schedule of quantities that's been sent to us by the merchant. So the next step is to check the quantities of our big ticket items and make sure that we are happy with them. You don't have to check every single nut and bolt on the job, but your big ticket items, certainly your cladding. You want to make sure that you are happy with the quantities that have been provided by the merchant. Just because the file is imported perfectly doesn't mean that there hasn't been human error in terms of the measure, or there may have been a change to the scope of work that only you're aware of. You can see here all the quantities coming into columns. There's a materials quantity and a build quantity. The materials quantity is grayed out and we can't adjust that. That's the measure, that's what's coming from the merchant. The build quantity is what we are going to be building with and what we are going to be charging our client for. That's our adjustable column. If in this example, for example, we decide that instead of 140 length of weatherboards, we need 200, we can change that in the build quantity, and that change is then reflected in the adjustment to value column, which shows how much value we've added to the contract. If we feel that an item is missing from the schedule, at the bottom of each work section is an Add Item button, and we can click that. It will bring up a pop-up box that allows us to search the merchant's database. We can see there are 348 pages of items. Obviously, we can type in the search box and narrow the search parameters, or if it's an item that's not contained in the database, we can use a one-off item instead. Manually added items are the only items that you're able to delete. For items that come from the merchant, if we want to delete them, we simply zero the material rate. A pop-up box will appear asking if we want to apply the price to all similar items, and in this case we're going to say no, and we don't want to make that our default price for that material. If we're getting a single item from another merchant, or if we have stock on hand, we know that we can get that item cheaper, we can change the rate. And again, the system will ask us if we want to apply that right across all similar items. We will say yes. Do you want to save that from now on as a default material rate for that item? We'll say no. We can also subcontract out items. Installation, for example, we can use the tick box to select the item by item, or more commonly, using all supplied by subcontractor. We can sub out the entire section at once. You're only subbing out the tab you're working in. In this situation, we have subbed out the material cost of the installation, but we haven't touched the labor. We are still supplying the labor of installing it. If we want to sub it out completely, we need to do that in the labor tab, which we'll get to shortly. Finally, wastage. We can do wastage as a line item percentage on those items where that's applicable. On our weatherboards, for example, we might want to put 10% wastage, and then we'll do our 10% overall down the bottom. Once we're happy with our material quantities, then it's on to the labor tab.